I am Will Ortner. This is Chargers Now, and today we're going to discuss the latest PFF mock draft and who they have the Chargers taking. Now, this is after NFL free agency week 1, and there are certainly some holes that the Chargers have to fight through, but it's also important to note the Chargers don't have to go out and make a big signing in free agency or make a big trade. The Chargers can use the 2026 NFL draft, and general manager Joe Hortiz has made it pretty clear that he isn't afraid necessarily to do that. When you look at the next thing that we are going to talk about on today's show, we are going to dive into the 3 picks in the first 3 rounds that the Chargers have and who the Chargers could take. So I want to ask you first, who do you want the Chargers to take in the NFL draft? Let us know down below in the comment section before we even dive into everything that the Chargers need. When I look at the needs right now for the Chargers, they still need interior offensive line help. They need a solid edge rusher. Interior defensive line, of course, could be shored up. We saw Mel Kiper having the Chargers go out and take Woods from Clemson in his draft. PFF going to be a little bit different. And, of course, the Chargers need a safety. Now, when we look at the entire draft for the Chargers, they do have the first 4 rounds. They still hold on to their picks. No 5th or 7th round pick for the Chargers as we sit, but of course they do have a 6th round. We're only going to go through the first 3 picks here on today's show, and I think we've delayed enough. We've made you wait and watch and help build up some of our watch time here on the channel. Let's get into who the Chargers could take at pick number 22. It's an offensive lineman. It's not Vega Ione. Unfortunately, he was already taken in this draft. The Chargers, according to PFF, are going to go out and get Spencer Fano from Utah. Now, you might be saying to yourself, Will, Spencer Fano, isn't he a tackle? Yes, but he is someone that can project inside to guard, or potentially, as rumors have been stated, maybe there's a chance that Rashawn Slater, after dealing with a severe injury, could potentially bounce inside to guard as well. When we look at everything that the Utah tackle has been able to do in his career, last year the guy was unbelievable. One of the best offensive linemen in the entire nation. I think he gets knocked a little bit because when you look at the grades, they jump off the charts to most NFL viewers and most NFL scouts. But I do think there is a knock because of the league that Spencer Fano plays in, and there's not a lot of respect for the defensive linemen in the Big 12. It is important to note, though, that most of the best guys he did go against, and he did a fantastic job blocking those guys. Gordon McGinnis of PFF had this to say on Spencer Fano and why he would end up in LA with the Chargers. The Chargers wouldn't be thrilled to see Ione go 1 pick before they are on the clock, but Utah's Fano is a perfectly good option. With tackles Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt back from injuries, Fano would kick inside to guard. He earned an 80.0 plus PFF grade in run blocking and pass protection in 2025, making him one of 12 FBS offensive linemen to do so. This is the perfect type of player for this team. It seems clear that the Chargers are going to use pick 22 to get an interior offensive lineman, but Fano gives you the ability to, if another scary injury were to happen to Slater or to Alt, well, now you have a better backup plan than you had necessarily last year. You're also getting a player that I think instantly adds into Mike McDaniel's offense, and it's clear to me that the Chargers need to bolster up that offensive line. When you look at the O-line, there is at least one clear hole, and I think a lot of Charger fans are not thrilled with the idea that Strange does seem to be one of the other options that the Chargers are going with. It is important to note that Mike McDaniel doesn't necessarily need the best guard play in his offense, but I'm telling you right now, you get damn good guard play from one Spencer Fano. When we look at the second round, another need that the Chargers have and a position that they need to target is that edge rusher spot. Derrick Moore would be a fantastic addition to this team, the edge rusher from Michigan. Plus, he'd be reuniting with his former head coach when he was over at Michigan, the great Jim Harbaugh. When we look at the 2025 season for Moore, obviously that Michigan team went against some of the better competition in the Big Ten. He had a fantastic season. Double-digit sacks and TFLs, getting a ton of tackles, and also getting after the quarterback, forcing a lot of pressures. Very strong rusher out of Michigan. Not afraid to use the bull rush to his advantage. When you look at the career for Moore, I think it is a fantastic career because every year he gets better and better and better and develops more and develops more and develops more. When I look at a guy like Derrick Moore, he is the type of edge rusher that can add into this team. Why? Because they have a position of need, and Moore fills that. He's also the type of player that I think would do well in Coach O'Leary's defense because he's only going to get more opportunities to get after the passer. When you look at the entire National Football League and the teams that run the type of defense that the Chargers are going to want to run. So we look at former defensive coordinator Jesse Minter. We look at Mike McDaniel, the head coach of the Seattle Seahawks. What these defenses need are a lot of edge rushers, a lot of interior defensive line talent, and you see a lot of players like Odafe Oweh, who just left the Chargers to go to the Commanders, have some of their best years or half of their best years in this type of defense. I think that Moore would be able to get the most out of his talent while also being able to hit the ground running, joining Khalil Mack and Thule, and I do believe that Khalil Mack could end up passing off where he's at to a guy like Derrick Moore. Make sure that you hit that sub button if you love the Los Angeles Chargers. We're going to have you covered throughout the year of 2026, and we are growing. The fastest growing Chargers channel here on Chat Sports. You don't want to miss out on that. That's producer Cyril's favorite joke, so I had to make sure I threw it in there on this video. The last player that we're going to dive into, and again, PFF does a great job of touching on a need that the Chargers have. At pick number 86, Genesis Smith, a fantastic player and a player that can easily add into that safety room with the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, he was over at Arizona, had a very good career with the Wildcats. It is important to note that each year he does end up getting better and better. Now, he's not necessarily the best ball hawking safety. Now, to be fair as well, Arizona, it's not like they were up a ton of points for a majority of his career there, so he might not have had as many opportunities to go make big-time plays. Not afraid to add in to the tackling game. He's also a very versatile player, a player that's going to allow Derwin James to be more of that free floater that we are seeing a lot of safeties kind of transform into. Kyle Hamilton did it first with McDonald, Derwin James doing it with Jesse Minter, Nicky Manwari doing that, obviously, in Seattle. I think Derwin James obviously is going to be able to do that in LA, and Genesis Smith allows the Chargers that freedom. He's going to be able to sit back, be a big-time performer for this team, and I think you're able to fill a position of need and also get younger at that position of need. He's going to be a great depth piece, someone that can easily add into the special teams unit if he doesn't come in and earn that starting spot right away, but I do think that Smith is someone that would be able to fill in very well on this Chargers team. Go down below in the comment section and grade PFF's latest mock draft, A, B, C, D, or F. I know that when we do some of these mock drafts, some of the more global talent or the more national talent doesn't always get the ins and outs of the Chargers. So I do want to get your opinion on how you feel as a true diehard Chargers fans that PFF did. In my personal opinion, I believe that this is an A- deal here for PFF. They went out and they identified a lot of positions of need for the Chargers team, and they put in some quality players in those roles. Now, obviously, Chargers fans, myself included, would prefer to have Vega Ione in a Chargers uniform. That being said, he's taken before LA even has an opportunity to go and get him. Well, you got to make lemonade out of some lemons. I'll tell you right now, going and getting Spencer Fano is a pretty darn good lemonade there. Make sure that you hit that sub button. You love the Los Angeles Chargers. We're going to make sure that we have the Chargers covered the best way we know how, by working our butts off for you. The minute that there is a move, the minute that there is a trade, or if you want any of the latest rumors, we're going to have that content out for you. We are going to cover the Chargers like no other in this industry. That I promise you. And all you got to do, hit that sub button, and you'll be kept up to date with this Chargers team. Thank you guys so much for viewing today's video, and bolt up.